Hello again. We'll be looking at the logarithm rules this time and how we can manipulate certain equations using the rules to make it easier to calculate. I'll be giving just a few simple examples. All right. We know a few things. We basically understand what logarithms are, and we're doing base 10 right now. But we need to figure out how we can manipulate them. So in your textbook, they give certain examples. They give rules that can be used and a little background to why they can be used. We're just going to be looking at how do we do it. I expect you guys to read yourself the deeper explanations in the chapter. So let's take a look. Now we're going to be dealing with numbers that I'll just call them x and y, and it has to do with how they're placed, and they need to be positive for our examples. But let's take a look at the rules here. Rule number one, if we have positive x and y, then this means right here that x times y. So if you take the logarithm of a product, you can divide it up like this so that it will become the log of x plus the log of y. That's kind of nice to be able to do sometimes. Now let's take a look at the other one. If you have a fraction, like for number 2 here, the log of some number divided by some other number can then be divided up very similar to multiplication, but notice there that that's negative. Very important. You don't want to mess that one up. Let's take a look at the third one. Now we're going to be taking the logarithm of something to the power of something else. Okay? When we have that, then this one up here, whatever that is, if it's a 4 or a 10 or a 37.5, it comes down out in front. And then you multiply it by the log of just x. So let's try a couple little examples then. Move the rules up to the left there, and then I'll highlight each one as we go. So we're going to try and rewrite what I put down using the rules that are appropriate. So let's just look at something. The log, and this time I did LG instead of LOG. I wanted to give you the full spectrum. The LG of 3 times x, or 3x. All right. You see that it's in green, and that's the most appropriate one is rule number 1. So let's see what happens. Okay, we just rewrote it. You saw that we had 2 numbers. We have a 3 and then a variable, x. Now, don't let it be confused that we have an x there and a y there. The x and y in the rules, it could have just as well said a or b or m and n or whatever. It just means 2 things are multiplied together. And when you actually have a problem to do, sometimes you might have an x and a y, other times you might have an a and a b, or a 5 and a y, or a 6 and an x. It doesn't matter. Just remember what this really means. 2 things multiplied together. And this is just to illustrate how it happens. Let's take a look at the next one then. Okay, we want to take the log, rewrite the log of 3 divided by x. Again, there's an x in the bottom. Don't let that scare you, because here, this is just the standard rule. How do you do it when you have a number up on top and something else on the bottom? What do you do? And you just follow the little recipe there. So the thing on top minus the thing on the bottom. Here we go. And what does that look like? Okay, we had something on top, that was 3. We had something on the bottom, that was x. So then following the formula, you get LG3 minus LGX. Okay, not complicated at all. Let's take a look at the last one then. Okay, the log of 5 to the power of x. So, not very hard, just like the rule says here. You're going to have the log of something to the power of something else. Okay, in this case, the power is what needs to go down out in front, just like the rule says. So let's see how that works out for us. There you go. the x comes down to the left, and you end up with LG5. So it's not so bad, is it? I think we'll be able to, oops, sorry about the button push there. I think you guys will have no problem with this then. So everything that you'll be encountering is just a variation on this theme. You just need to remember what's what. See you next time.